Hello and welcome. My name is Thorsten Tiet. I'm the founder of Dividend Stocks Cash, stock screener to make long-term profit growth visible, because that's the only way to help you benefit from growing capital gains and dividends as well. In this video, we're not talking about fundamental stock analysis in general. We are also not talking about a single stock. We are talking about how I become rich as an investor, or at least how I try to become rich as an investor, but I'm already on my way and it looks pretty solid. I do this because in the web I feel that there is a conventional approach, it's a dividend oriented approach with a tendency to make buy and hold. At first, in the first years, this was also my approach, and it took me about more than 100,000 euro in dividends until I noticed that there's a better approach, at least that I think this approach suits me better than the more conventional approach. I'm not going to tell that this is the ultimate approach for everyone, but I think that it's time to present this approach and to explain it to you, so you might get a new idea how to become rich, or at least more successful as an investor. You may be surprised that I'm not a dividend investor anymore, because my platform is called Dividend Stocks Cash, but it's also a little bit of marketing. It's about long-term profit growth, and this is where I'm still based on. I am not investing into any stocks. I'm investing in stocks with long-term profit growth, in high-quality stocks, but the rest differs. And I want to show you some things, because I'm going to show you hard facts, hard figures. Before doing so, I'm German, as you may already know, and I started as a financial blogger here in the internet and in Germany for a long time already. Each month I publish my portfolio values, including dividends, option selling, and so on. And for quite some time already, I will post this link so you can verify. You will be able to verify all numbers I'm showing you. You will find all these numbers here. And you can also find my numbers here on Income Heroes. It's a blog of Dividend Stocks Cash. And here you can find me, wachstumswerte.net also. But here you can only find my option income, my total income, and the portfolio value. And you will notice probably that based on my monthly rank, on the monthly yield, so in the cash flow I generate, that I mostly outperform all the competition. At least I'm not always a number one, but between 1 and 2 or 3 for most months. And here are quite some financial bloggers from all over the world. And this is what I mean, that I have found something which suits me better than a simple buy and hold and increase your dividend income approach. And I will show you what it is. To show this to you, I must say that I'm a database geek, and I administrate all my numbers myself. So if I buy a stock, if I sell a stock, if I get dividends, I all administer this myself. I'm big number crunching here, and we will make a little analysis now, and I will show you if I'm successful or not. You will see this. Before we do so, let's get a little orientation on the TradingView.com, because I will show you the years. Come on, here we are. I will show you my performance starting from 2017. That's when I continued to switch from the dividend driven buy and hold focus to the strategy I'm doing now. And because of this, let's have a look at the stock market's performance. In the meanwhile, we add the S&P 500 total return, and we start with 2017, and we get the percentage here, and then you see that the index was able to gain about 34%, and I think that's a valid benchmark. It's even a very hard benchmark for an international investor, because the US stock market was outperformed the rest of the world by and large, I'd say. And here are all dividends included, so 34%, that's our benchmark. And here I have everything I need to create an analysis on the fly. I'll show you how we do this, and then you will see my strategy first, and second, if it was successful or not. So let's create a pivot table, and then we have the date here. The quarter we don't need. 2016 is too early. So get rid of it, and we start with my portfolio value at the end of each month. It's in euro, by the way, so if you want to get an idea about dollar, just multiply by 1.1, about 10% more. Not absolutely correct, but it's very close enough to get the idea. And be patient. Here we have the years, so let's show all the beauty. We still, yeah, we are right there, and we don't need the partial results here of the year. It doesn't make sense. Okay, what we see here, I make it larger. What we see here is the portfolio value at the end of each month. You see that we don't have really an increase here, and you might be disappointed first, because normally investors are going to invest each month recurrently an amount, and they want to increase their portfolio value, and this way they increase their dividend income. What I did here was, I'm not going to invest in this portfolio anymore. I am just it's already there and I'm working with this portfolio. I have another portfolio, and with this portfolio I do basically the same, but there I'm still investing. In this portfolio I don't invest anymore, but this is a portfolio which is also public here, and you can verify all these numbers if you want with this website. That's why I decided to show you this portfolio, that I'm not going to pretend anything you can't verify. With my other investments, other portfolios, I am basically doing the same with the same success rate, which shouldn't be too surprising. You will see. And let's get rid of this result here. So here you just see the portfolio value, and what we will add now is the profit and loss, so that's the capital gains. And for you to make it easier to follow, portfolio value, and that's capital gains each month. It's still the count. Come on, we need the sum. Okay, and here you see that's already interesting, I think, the accumulated capital gains. And what we do now is we calculate the yield, because we try to see how well we do against this benchmark. And our benchmark, as I said, is 34% or 35% if you want. And let's go back here. The average of the portfolio value was 250,000 euro. Okay, so we take this to calculate the yield, and we have a profit loss of 38,330. Maybe we add the sum back. Come on. So that doesn't make sense, but this makes sense. So 250,000 and 38,330. And now we can calculate yield. The increase up. And that's 78% without dividends still. That's far below our benchmark. So you might be still disappointed. Now let's add dividends. And this is the cumulated dividend income starting from 2017 to 2019. So this is the dividend income, and now we can add this, including this, divided by this, and now it's 23.2%, which is still below our benchmark. This is capital gains once more. Come on. Okay. And now slowly I think it's getting more interesting, because what's happened now is I'm doing option selling. I'm not doing buy and hold anymore. I never did purely buy and hold. I was always willing to sell stocks. I didn't want any longer because I believed faith in the companies. But now my approach is also value oriented. It means if I think that the stock is overvalued, I'm also willing to sell a stock, for example. And I'm doing option selling, as I already told you. And I'm also willing to cap my capital gains, to limit my capital gains when writing covered calls, and to renounce on unrealized capital gains if you want. So now comes option selling. And this is it, and just get the sum of all values. Come on. It's option selling, and you see that I started in 2017 with option selling. Here I didn't yet make option selling, and I started in April 2017. I also had bad months, especially in September, but in 2018 was quite successful, and it stays to be successful. There will be a month, I'm sure, with a negative income of option selling with losses, but so far it's pretty successful. And you can also see that I make more cash flow by far with option selling than with the dividend income. And if we add this and all our income now, capital gains, it's unrealized capital gains, by the way. Let's add it that it's unrealized. And if we add this, we have already 34%. And that's already on par with the benchmark. Now we are as well as a S&P 500 total return already. And that's not all, because as I said, I'm willing to cap the capital gains when doing option selling, when setting covered calls. It means I sell the right to someone else to buy my stock for a certain price, a strike price. And sometimes it happens that the stock price increases so much that the option goes into the money and I'm forced to sell the stock for less than it's worth on the exchange. And so it's no surprise that in this time from 2017 January to May right now, I was also selling stocks. It means I don't have only unrealized capital gains, I also have realized capital gains, and that's coming now. And there's already the sum. Excel already learned something, that I don't want the counts but the sum. Realized capital gains, and that's 36,000. So it's about the same as unrealized capital gains and realized capital gains. It's very close to each other. And if we take the sum of this and divide it by the average portfolio value, we get 51%. And you see that we are now well above the, in my point of view, already ambitious benchmark, which was about 34%. That's my way, that's how I invest. Regarding realized capital gains, maybe that's a little bit an overstatement, because here I sold stocks, especially in the beginning, like here, where I already had the stocks for a longer time in the portfolio. So the capital gains accumulated during years well before 2017. So maybe you could do this in half, cut in half, so that you have, let's say, only 18,000 instead of 36,000. But then we have 42 or 43%, and we have still beaten the benchmark of the S&P 500 total return. And what's, I think, very interesting, or what's the most interesting, are these two columns, because if you just try to increase your dividend income, that's a very slow process. It's driven by two things: by your investments, that you always reinvest to increase your portfolio value, and second, that you invest in companies with growing dividends. There you can make 5 to 10, maybe 15 or even 20% capital dividend increase by year. But 20% increase you can do with Tencent or other stocks which grow fast. But then the start dividend yield is rather low. So 5 to 10% is, in my point of view, realistic for a dividend income investor. On the other hand, if you are willing to make option selling, and if you are willing to sell stocks, then you can really accelerate your cash flow. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I'm doing this now long enough. And I also experienced the Vola crash, for example, in 2018. I experienced in February 2018, in December 2018. It was also a hard month, October also. You see this here with the unrealized capital gains. And it's not that it was always bright sunshine. and to me it's a working strategy. And I just wanted to show you this, to give you an idea that there's also another way than just to be a plain vanilla dividend income investor. This strategy is still based on high quality stocks. So if you look at my portfolio, and I can show you my portfolio because it's also online, you see it here. Here you see the market value, and here you see my my current portfolio. It's not that large, it's these positions, and here you see everything I already sold. That's the realized capital gains, and here you see the P&L here. That's the unrealized capital gains, but you see you see the amount 2 here. So you can see, or you will probably see, that these are mostly exclusively, that is not trash, but that's high quality stocks here, international high quality stocks. And that's where dividend stocks cash comes into play, or plays an important role. And dividend, to find these quality stocks, and dividend stocks cash is also very important to me when trying to evaluate or to find the fair value, to get an impression of the stock, to help me decide if the stock is really overvalued, if it's time maybe to sell the stock, either by selling covered calls or even directly. And my suggestion is just I wanted to give you an overview about how I invest. For me, it's still investing, it's not trading. And if you are interested, for example, to know more, maybe I can do a monthly portfolio update. Then you will get a better idea about all transactions I do. I do it already in German. And for example, you find all my options I was selling so far. You can find them here. And yeah, you see the underlying, you see the strike, you see how much money I got. That's a prime. If I made at the end profit, or if I made a loss. So everything is already here in German. And I'm doing monthly update on my German YouTube channel, which is a little bit more popular than the English one. And if you want me to do the same on the English channel, I'm willing to do so, but there should be more than one person asking me to do this, because for me it's still a little bit of work to do everything twice. So I hope this gave you an idea about my investments. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.